Turkey Al-Sheikh offers Benavidez a chance to fight Callum Smith. He turns it down. He pushes for Bivol to get stripped. Bivol vacates. And then he offers Callum Smith a fight. Callum Smith turns it down. And I know you disagree on that. Only to fight Yarde on a Turkey card. So it feels like a big circle, only to get back to where they started. But now Benavidez has got a fight. But what do you make of that weird drama?
I just think it's a bad business decision. Hustling backwards is just really it's prototypical Americans thinking that they need to be, prioritized over everybody, man. Just I don't know why y'all were so reluctant to turn down the fight in the first place. It made no sense for you. You send him you get sent an offer, you reject it just to counter offer it because you don't want to fight over there in Saudi Arabia. And then when the number can't get matched, when the number that he wanted, that what he was allegedly supposed to get to fight over there, the Callum Smith I'm talking about, when the number that he was supposed to get for fighting over there in Saudi Arabia doesn't get matched because it's going to be here in America, you then say, all right, whatever the fuck ever, and accept whatever number that they sending you for you to fight over there in Saudi Arabia against Anthony Yarde. It just doesn't make much sense, man. Just this dude, and this is why I get so aggravated with people who propagandize this dude. It's like you're not a mistreated stepchild. You've had ample opportunity to fight credible opposition, man. Everybody likes to take this dude's entire career and relegate it to what? When did Canelo move up? 20, what was that? Officially, he moved up 2020 when he fought Callum Smith.
Yes.
So y'all will take this, is what we in 2025 right now, man. So y'all will relegate this dude's career to a 5-year time span and completely disregard the fact that he's the youngest super middleweight champion in history. And that happened before Canelo got up there. And even then, you were still turning down offers, not offers, but you was turning down, you wasn't interested in fighting Caleb Plant in a unification match because according to your own promoter or manager, whatever it is you want to call him, y'all want to marinate the fight and try to get as much bang for your buck as you can out of this fight, as if either one of y'all are Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather, man. So this dude's entire career has just been bad business decision after bad business decision. And because of this notion, this Euro bum mentality that Americans have, you blotted yourself out from that as well. Because I mean, all of the Brits and everything, they were the ones who were dominant. They were in bulk in those divisions. They were in bulk in those divisions. So according to y'all, Americans tell, how Americans perceive British fighters across the pond, y'all dog food, y'all snack pack, y'all ain't shit. You did, y'all we'll get to y'all when we get to y'all. Y'all aren't to be prioritized. We in America, we're the priority. Y'all aren't. Even though they're dominating as far, numerically dominating that division, and they have been for some years now. So you held you blotted yourself out of getting really good names on your resume because you didn't think much of the European talent pool. And now here the fuck we are. So that's my biggest thing, man. Stop acting like you are the priority. You not the star of this show, and that's just a fact. You had a multitude of opportunities to fight cats of note that are better than Darrell. You could have fought a Callum Smith. We wouldn't have been mad at you if you fought a Billy Joe Saunders. You could have fought a Caleb Plant. You dig? Well, wasn't he supposed to be in the Super 6 series, the Super Series over there? Like, what are we doing, man?
I didn't like that you had Benavidez and particularly Lakovic saying, okay, Bivol, Beterbiev, good, treating them like they're afterthoughts, saying, well, you got to fight Benavidez. I didn't like that. I also didn't like that Lakovic was saying, he's a junior or whatever. Like, it felt like we were heading into the Tank Davis situation. I wanted Callum Smith because Smith deserved it. Anthony Yarde did duck Joshua Buatsi last year. Callum Smith just beat Joshua Buatsi. I agree with you. Yeah, like the posturing, I mean, we hate that in boxing, and Benavidez's team were doing that. Now, what I did like is that they did offer Callum Smith the fight, and okay, they've ended up on a Turkey card. Now, I believe you said on IBP's show that you felt Smith didn't duck the fight.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
I gotta jump in here. He did duck. He did duck it. The fight was offered. Don't look at me like that. The fight was offered. He had a title shot, and he didn't take it. Now, I don't know what he was offered. As you continue to shake your head. All right, we get into that now. Bring it on. Bring it on.
The thing is this. No, go ahead. No, you still. No. I thought you was done.
Well,
go ahead.
Okay. What I was just going to say is I don't know what Smith was offered from. We know he was offered good money from Turkey. I don't know what he was offered from Benavidez' team, so I don't know about the money discrepancy. But the fight was offered, it was there for him, a title shot, and he ducked it. Go ahead.
The thing is this, man. What was the numbers? You dig? And as you just said, we don't know what the numbers was, man. But was that number bigger than the number that they was initially supposed to get when they first approached him? And let Samson Lukowicz tell it was for many millions of dollars. You dig? Many million. And now Turkey is on record saying if you want the most bang for your buck, you're going to have to take your ass over to Saudi. We're not doing this here in America. You got to come over there to where I'm at. If you want to be compensated more handsomely than you would get over here, you got to come holler at me over in Saudi Arabia. So if you're trying to make a fight over here in America, I obviously can't be compensated the way that I want to be compensated, my dude. No, I'm not. No, because this isn't what it is that I was promised. I want what I was promised. If I can't get what I was promised, why would you want? Because if I'm getting this set amount, this many millions of dollars, you're going to be compensated in the same manner. Why? Because people already feel that you're the bigger threat. They're a little bit more familiar with you. You're going to be just as impactful to this show as I am. So why would you turn down a fight in Saudi Arabia just for you to turn around and fight in Saudi Arabia on a Turkey show? It don't make no sense. So he didn't duck it, bro. No. Fuck. And hold on real quick. People also keep painting this narrative that his only way to a title was through David, and that's not the case. He has the WBO. Well, not true, of course, but just in general, he has the WBO. I hate saying interim, but he has the WBO interim strap. I'm tired. I'm really trying my best to stop giving these secondary titles clout and screen time or whatever, but. He's in line for a title shot. So your only shot at a title is not through David Benavidez. Everybody keeps saying that. David Benavidez. Okay, I can chill for a minute. I can chill until this fight with Beterbiev and Bivol conclude. And all right, cool. I'm in line right then and there. So I don't just people keep trying to shame him because it's a title shot and all that. Cool. Title shot. I'm in line for that anyway. But now give me the money that I'm asking for.
Okay. Well, I agree with you to say that I'm not saying Callum Smith is scared, because the fight was offered the first time. Now, this is why I disagree with you that it is a duck, because, okay, the fight was offered. Now, I don't, as an outsider, this is why I think Benavidez turned down the offer in the first place, because it was for, like you said, interim titles. It wasn't for a title shot. His insistence was to enforce his mandatory. And let's not forget, a bunch of people, I'm not saying you were one of them, but a bunch of people did say, well, Benavidez, are you going to enforce your mandatory, or are you just going to sit there and be Mr. Nice Guy, or are you going to try and fight one of these kings? So Benavidez did enforce his mandatory, which is fair, and then he offered Callum's. Don't look at me like that. He did offer.
I'm letting you finish.
He did. Let you finish. He did offer Callum Smith the fight, so it's not that he didn't want to fight Callum Smith. He wanted to fight for the world title. You just talked about how you don't like second place interim titles. I agree with you because there's too many, but he pushed for the real title. Then he offered Callum Smith the fight, and Callum Smith didn't take it. Now, I agree with you. Callum Smith can fight the winner of Bivol Beterbiev. In fact, he might actually be next in line now that Benavidez' shot was through the WBC route, and that's now been stripped from Bivol. But a duck is a duck, so go ahead.
Man, listen, man. It was. I don't think it was him enforcing his mandatory for what. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight Callum Smith because it's for interim straps or whatever the case may be. You knew what it was going into that fight before the fight even started. Before the fight even, before the bell even rang for the fucking first fight on the prelims of that card. You knew that it'd be Ball won that fight, that there was gonna be a trilogy. You knew that, and you wasn't reluctant to fight Callum Smith on the undercard. That's what makes all of this look bad. And now you all of a sudden jump to go and get to get him stripped or whatever. I don't like why. I don't. Now, granted, in the grand scheme of things, it's actually it actually was a smart move because Bivol and Benavidez is just so much turbulence going on between them right now. We don't know when they get in the ring and brawl out. So in hindsight, all right, cool, that was the proper decision to make. But at the time, it did kind of look funny style. So I guess you can't be too mad at Benavidez for doing that. That was actually a smart thing to do because just because of what's happening in the now. I can be real and say that shit. However, I'm not willing to say that Callum Smith dug David Benavidez. I'm just not. I'm not there because there's no way you can sit here and tell me that bag was equivalent to what Turkey was offering him in Saudi Arabia. It's always going to double back to this. You was reluctant to bend the knee and kiss the ring and all that shit. So you offered that. You sent the counter offer for you to fight him up here in America just for you to bend the knee and fight Anthony Yarde over there in Saudi Arabia on a Turkey show, bro. It just don't make no sense. Why not just take the fight with Callum Smith in the first place? You dig?
Can I?
Go ahead.
Originally, it would not have been for the WBC title. He wanted to enforce his mandatory. So that's to answer your question. Why not take the fight originally in Saudi, since he's fighting in Saudi? Because he wanted it to be for the full title.
But now take this into consideration. If they was gonna fight, if the goal was to fight on the trilogy ain't going down now. The trilogy ain't going down now. So you still get elevated to that. You still get elevated to what belt is he holding? Is it the
WBC.
Is it the WBA that he holds?
Yeah, we be clowns.
All right, yeah, he got the We Be Clowns belt right there. So let's say you did get that fight penciled in or whatever the case may be to fight on the undercard of the trilogy. The trilogy ain't going down in the time being or whatever the case may be, and we don't know when it's going down. So even between now and then. Between now and then, you're still getting elevated. So it still would have been for a title shot. You dig me? It still would have been for a title shot. And not to mention, when you say he wanted to fight for the belt or whatever the case may be, and it's and they kind of cast these aspersions on Callum Smith for not taking the fight because it was a title shot. As I stated earlier, he's already in line for a belt, my dude. So I can't allow a motherfucker to run that shit on me because it's for a belt. You ducked it, you don't want no title shot. I'm in line for a title shot anyway with Bivol, the winner of Bivol and Benavidez. So it is what it is.